Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to update you on some of the positions that I took today and some of the positions that I closed today. One of them being my Snapchat scalps, number two being Tesla Strangle that I just recently closed, and the Intel Strangle that I took and closed today as well. So we'll break down all of those trades, and hopefully you guys will learn something from that. Now, in regards to Snapchat, you guys have probably seen that it's been spiking up quite a bit lately due to their recent earnings report. One, that's great for my long-term portfolio and many of your long-term portfolios out there. And two, it was great to see a stock that actually moved up. Most of the stocks have been pretty flat lately. The market's been pretty flat lately due to some of the worries about the virus, due to the worries about the presidential election, and some of the stimulus talk. So it's been hard to find a move that actually stays consistent. When I saw Snap running up on a consistent basis today, I made sure to go ahead and jump on it and alert it to all the Discord members who made quite a bit of money on this call out as well. But before we get into the trades, first, you know what to do. Smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel for some more option trading videos. And if you do want to join the Discord chat, it's going to be the first link in the description below. I post all of my trades there as I take them live. And there's 1,200 other traders to support you throughout the day as well. So if you want to check that out, first link in the description below. Alright guys, so regarding the trades, number one, Tesla Strangle did not work out. I had about a $600 risk on that position, and Tesla did move within the expectations. So I woke up this morning to about a 50% loss on that position. So I lost just about $300, and I cut that right at market open. Unfortunately, not all of these trades work out. And if you guys are getting into trading or you've been trading, then you know that not every position you take works out, and you have to sometimes cut those losses. So number one was a loser on the Tesla Strangle. Now on Intel, that was a win on the Strangle. You guys saw that Intel missed earnings. Actually, I think they beat earnings, but they did not do well. Their cloud numbers were really bad, and some of the analysts did not really like that. So the stock really tumbled after hours as well as this morning, and I closed that position for just about a 65% gain. I only had about $55 in that position. I'll share it with you guys. So just about a $90 gain on that position. So nothing too crazy, but I'll show you in the charts why I took this. If you guys saw Intel's last earnings, they really got hit, and I thought that that would happen again, and it did in fact happen. Now the trade that I really want to focus on is the Snapchat calls, because that worked perfectly with a 9-period exponential moving strategy that I talk about quite a bit on this channel. It was riding that 5-minute 9-period exponential moving average almost all of the day, and there was no reason to sell this throughout the day until it went ahead and cracked that support. Now, one thing to keep in mind with Snapchat is that the premiums are pretty small, so you do have to buy a lot of contracts to scale up in a position. When I hold, a lot of contracts, I like to scalp out of them over time. I wasn't holding all of my contracts the entire ride up, and I'll share that with you guys in this video. So I started with 20 contracts, I would sell 5, I would sell 5, I would slowly get out of the position and take my profits. So with all that being said, let's go ahead, pull up Snapchat on the charts. Let's break down this trade. I'll show you guys what I was looking at, why I got into Snapchat, and why I started to exit out of it and take my profits. All right, so we have Snapchat pulled up. I have the 1 minute on the left side and I have the 5 minute on the right side. I like to look at both of these because with the 5 minute, it's a little bit less volatile and it usually holds the trend nicer, and I like to watch that with the 9-period exponential moving average. So take this into consideration. Make sure you guys are watching both of these if you're using this strategy. So to start off, where I got into Snapchat. So right here is where I alerted this and got into Snapchat. I got in at 10:30 a.m. And so it exploded really quickly, and I was really quickly up on this position and started to take profits almost, a minute or two later. But the reason I got into this was because if you look at around 10:25 to 10:30 right here, we had a perfect bounce to this 9-period exponential moving average. We were spiking up. We got a little bit overextended in the morning. We pulled back right to that line, which I love to see. I want to wait for that pullback to that 9-period exponential moving average. We bounced straight off of it, broke through these highs. So we had highs around 41, and that was sort of a resistance level for Snap. We bounced right through it on this 5-minute candle, and that was my entry. That was my entry point. I knew we were bullish. We had the break of the previous highs with a lot of volume, and we had a previous support at the 9-period exponential moving average. If you look at this over on the 1 minute, you can see that it sort of looks like this, right? So we're spiking up, we're holding the 1 minute here, and we sort of turn under and we fall below the 1 minute. So sometimes if you're looking at just the 1 minute, you can get faked out because you think that it's going to start trending downward because it broke that line. but that's why you want to make sure you're looking at the 5 minute as well. On the 5 minute, it was still above it, and there was no reason to sell or think that this trend was starting to break. So right here, you can see at 1025, we had a nice burst higher and broke through those highs right here. Now this is where I was starting to get into my position right at this breakout. So we saw the breakout, we saw a really nice continuation right here. We had another test to the 9 EMA right here. So look at this, this is another perfect test, just like this one. These are two great entries on Snapchat here. If you guys were watching Snap today, if you didn't know when to get into it, if you were concerned about, I'm going to get into this and it's just going to fall right when I enter it, take a look at this strategy, put the 9 EMA in your charts on the 5 minute, and look for these pullbacks like this. These are great entries. If it doesn't work out, you cut your losses. If it does, which it tends to work out, more times than not, that's a great entry point. You want to wait for that pullback. You don't want to be buying these stocks when they're overextended. You don't want to buy here. You don't want to buy up here when it's off this line. Buying up here was not a great entry point. Once you return back to this 9-period exponential moving average, that should be your indicator to start looking to get into these trades. So I got the actual executions here. My first sell was at 1031. So just a minute later, I was already up. I think I purchased those for 55 cents, 54 cents cost basis. So just about a minute later, I was up to 65 cents. The contracts were really moving higher. I bought 0 day to expiration contracts, which is extremely risky. I kept the position size small, but I wanted to take full advantage of this move. It looked like a great trending stock, and I knew I could take a little bit more risk on a trade like this because the strength was there, the volume was there, and I was confident in this move. So I started to scale out of it, sold one here at 65. Actually, this whole lot right here is one order. E-Trade just has them as separate ones, but this is 6, 7, 8, 9, so that's 10 right here in this box. This is 10. So I sold half of my position at 65 cents. Now this right here is just a JKS put that I took, so ignore that one. Right here is where I start to scale out of this a little bit more. So 1048 took another 5 off at 102. 1121 took another one off at 190. Right here actually took 3 off at 190, and then my last 2 I rode until 1217 and took off at 119. So from 55 cents to 190, that's about a 300% gain on those contracts right there. So that's a huge win on these contracts. So we'll go over why I started to scale out of this as well. So on these ones at 1048, that is right here on the charts. So at 1048, that's right here on this dip on the 1 minute. So looking here, I started to scale out. I was up really large in this position, and I was still holding somewhat of a large position. So I wanted to start scaling out of this and taking my profits. So we had a dip below on the 1 minute. Over here on the 5 minute, it still looks great, and that's why I did not scale out of all of my contracts. I still wanted to hold some of these and scalp this a little bit higher, but we did have a pullback. I wanted to take some profits, and that's where I took it right there. I took a few more contracts off the position there. Now the next ones were at 1121 right here. There's 3 right here at 1121. 1121 was right around here at this high, so we had pretty much a blow off top here all the way up to 43. We had some really strong resistance there. I was looking at the level 2. We had a bunch of ask sellers at 43, and I wanted to take some more profits. So I took some more profits at 1121, which is right here at that 43 high. We had a pretty big rejection, so I'm happy I took some more profits there, and that was right here on the 5 minute chart. And then the next ones last one was at 1217. The stock was just trading sideways at this point at 1217. And I just wanted to get out of it. We had a little bit of a 5 minute break of trend here, and I just wanted to take these profits. I was up pretty large here, so all in all, about $2,200 here on Snap. A great trade. These are where I sold them for 300%. But I hope you guys see, this is not about me showing you my profits. This is more about me showing you the strategy. So I hope you understand this. The 9-period exponential moving average, perfect retest right here, absolutely perfect entries to get into this. And once you start to see this relative underperformance over here, where Snap started to trade sideways, that's your point to say, okay, the momentum isn't there anymore, and I'm going to get out of these and take my profits. Now, one last thing that I want to show you on Snap is the last end of day run up. So you can see we were still sort of holding throughout the day. We did trade sideways, which sort of chopped around and sort of hurts option premium since it was sort of sideways. But if you look at this, we had a nice trend here, right? We had 1, 2, 3 tests at this trend, making higher lows. And then we had a flat bottom. So this is what you would call like an ascending wedge. So you have a trend line going higher on the bottom. You have a flat top right here around 42.80, 43, an ascending wedge. And then right here, the last few minutes of the day, we had that nice breakout, and we're still moving higher in the after hours. So this would be a great candidate for an overnight swing if you want to trade something into a Monday, which I don't love holding over the weekend, and I'm not currently holding anything. But that is a great setup for an overnight swing. You can see we broke the highs at the end of the day with some really nice volume. So Snapchat still looks great for continuation into Monday. And if you're holding calls, I think you can be confident on this one. We'll see what happens, but hopefully you started to take some profits today and you're holding a really small position into the weekend. So to wrap up the video, I'll go ahead and share with you my Intel strangle that I took, and I'll sort of talk to you why I took this. So right here is where I told everyone I took a 60-48 strangle. So I bought a 60 call and I bought a 48 put on a October 30th expiration. So I took that strangle. If you guys are not aware what strangle is, check out my last video where I go ahead and run through all of it. So I took that strangle. And the reason I chose a 60 and 48 was because of the previous support and resistance areas. So we had a 48 support here. You can see perfectly right there, really strong support. And then we had 60 on the upside. So 60 is right around here. We had a really nice resistance point there at 60. So I thought if Intel would move, it would either move up to that 60 resistance, or it would move down to that 48 support if there was good or bad earnings. Now, what you can see right here was really, a big move down, similar to what happened back here on their last earnings report. So here's earnings, here's earnings. Last earnings was really bad, fell from 61 all the way down to 48, so huge move. If you took strangles on this one, you made a lot more money, but I took one again because I thought maybe history would repeat itself. I know AMD has been doing great, and Intel has sort of not been so hot lately, and I thought, maybe they're continuing to struggle. So I took this strangle. I knew one way or the other there might be a big move. The market makers were only pricing in about $2.70 move, so a really small move, and I took a strangle there. It worked out really well, and that was my trade on Intel. So I just wanted to share with you guys this one real quick, how I chose those strike prices, and it looks like it perfectly worked out at that 48 support. If I would have chose a put lower, I probably wouldn't have made as much of a percent return. So great return on this one. Awesome to see this strangle work out. All right, guys, so I hope you enjoyed the breakdown of those two trades. What I really want you to take away from this video is that 9-period exponential moving average strategy. It is gold. It's been working great. When stocks start to trend up or trend down, it works to the upside or the downside. So check that out, add it to your charts, and start to play around with that strategy. If you enjoyed today's video, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel for some more videos on options trading, and if you want to join my Discord chat where I post all of my trades and have a really nice community around you, first link in the description below. It's Friday, it's beautiful out here in Florida, so I'm going to get outside, go enjoy my night. I hope you guys do the same, and I hope to see you in the next video. Peace.